Hello, welcome again to the Triple Spill. Great to catch up. February, January, misery is gone, and I hear that you've had rain every single day so far.
You should have seen it today. Did you get the hailstones, Camilla? Absolutely
We,
hammering.
we were outside trying to sort the car out, so my husband was on the ground as the hailstorms descended. I was holding a big umbrella trying to shield him as he was trying to fix something under the car. And when the wind, it was such a gust, it just folded the umbrella inside out. And I thought I was going to have a Mary Poppins moment where I just sort of took off.
Yeah.
It just came out of nowhere.
It was
So
like
now it's
Armageddon, wasn't it? It was
It
beautifully
was.
sunny, and all of a sudden it was like, my God, the world is ending out there. What's happened?
so
Yeah.
now we're on to planning travel. So today's topic is airports, and there's something about travel, I'm sure you agree, that brings out a completely different personality in different people. And it's just when you really start to think about it, it's very, very odd. There's something that happens. We all change, don't we? I don't know what you think, whether what you're like, but I am now. I do a lot of travel in the US, and it's very much like getting on a bus. So for me, I'm focused. I'm literally just, I've got my ID ready. I'm on it. I've just got a carry-on. I can even get 13 dresses into a carry-on bag. I am, on it. But you've got lots of different other people. You've got the vacation traveler, the holiday traveler. You've got the business person. So I don't know what you guys are like, but Camilla?
I'm the same. I'm insanely organized. I like to be on time. I have a list. I would like to be there 3 days before. I always stand under the screen and wait for the gate, even if it's sort of 20 minutes. And I get stressed if I don't do it.
Uh,
So I definitely,
you're the
I,
active traveler.
yeah, I'm
You're,
not very, I'm not very relaxing to travel with because it's only when I'm at the gate and I know that I've got through and shown everything and I know that I'm verified, then the happy holiday Camilla comes out. But before that, I'm the frantic travel monster who's clutching at the passport and the boarding gate. And I keep checking to make sure that they're still there, even though I know I'm holding it. So I'm that person.
You're the sort
who,
of person that I'm rolling my eyes at as I go
Yeah.
through the terminal. You're like a piece of furniture that just stands in the middle of the gangway and doesn't get out the way because they're so busy looking for their things.
Nobody move. They're about to announce the gate.
Exactly, and you're there 40 minutes before.
Yeah.
But I get it though because I've travelled in the US quite a bit, and they see it completely differently, don't they? Because it is like getting on a bus for them because they have to travel
yeah,
huge distances. It's just like getting a flight from, I don't know, Phoenix to wherever. It's just
yeah. Very,
um,
very, very different, and it makes you very different as a traveller.
yeah.
I think that there's, well, also age changes you, doesn't it? I mean, I remember many years ago when my children were tiny, and my husband did a lot of travel through work. So then when we would go on holiday, I used to drive me insane because he would actually march through the airport ahead, not carrying anything, not and I'd be running behind with children and bags because he was so used to doing business travel. Because
Mm,
business travel, it's literally to the wire, you get the, and I think
mm,
that American travel is the same. So it's just like getting on a bus. You don't need passports, so you just have to have your driver's license. And it's just fast. It's quite fast. So and you become very, but it's also busy. It's like ants everywhere in all the airports, just loads and loads and loads of people. Such a busy way of travel. Because as you say, Philippa, it's the only way to get from A to B here. You have to do it.
They fly such huge distances just for a meeting, don't they? Whereas
Yeah,
we'd be like, oh my goodness, we wouldn't go to Venice for a meeting. Whereas in the States, you'd fly that distance easily for a meeting and then come back the same day. So,
that's right. And also here they have all the loyalty. So I know we do it a bit in the UK. So we have our sort of, speedy boarding, and which, let's be honest, is never speedy. And you'll normally got a longer line in the speedy boarding line than you have in the non-speedy boarding.
I flew last week, and that is exactly what happened. We got to the airport in Agadir, and it was EasyJet, and there was just all these people marching forward, getting in their fast tracks check-in line, and we just beat them.
Yeah, there's no point to it. It's not
Yeah,
speedy.
exactly.
It's
But that
no,
that brings me on to one of my first rants is that it's not so much when you're flying out of the UK because most of the airports in the UK have got fairly decent, it's just bag drop, isn't it? You just turn up and you've checked in online, you've got everything on your phone. But but why is it when you're coming back in these sometimes smaller airports, and you do have to check in and physically drop a bag and go up to the counter and give all your bits and pieces. I don't understand why it takes people so long.
And they're not ready. Why are they not ready?
Well, what
They,
have you got to be ready? You just hand your passport over.
yeah,
They can normally pick your booking up from there. And
yeah.
it's just like, is there something complicated that's going on? And I get to my point thinking, right, I'm going to be here for 5 minutes because it obviously takes that long. And it's like, doof, 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 bag gone. And I'm just like, well, I don't understand.
No.
Why?
And also, why do then they suddenly need to have a long conversation with the person doing it? I mean, what are they asking? Are they asking?
That's Camilla. That's Camilla worrying about
No, I'm ready. I do, where I do get really annoyed is when you get through security. I mean, why is it taking people so long? How are you not taking your belt off as you're walking towards the screen? You know what's happening. Like, get your shit together and let's move it or use it. I mean, my heart rate definitely goes up when I'm watching people faff and take their merry old time. Like we're at some sort of spa retreat. That just really gets my blood boiling.
The one that gets me is when you've gone through security and you're at the other side and you're supposed to pick up your tray and wander over to plenty of desks so you don't block other people's stuff coming through, and people stand there and get redressed and they're putting their belts on and their shoes on and this, that and the other and their backpack on. It's just like, pick the frigging thing up, go over there and get out of my way now.
Yeah.
They do have a TSA here in the US, so you do a special extra bit of vetting, I suppose, which means that you can go in your TSA line, which is, I suppose, a little bit like a much more glamorous way of doing speedy boarding, because it actually does help. But then you don't have to take so many things off, so that's actually quite efficient. The problem is then, if you're used to that in the US and then you go back, I go back to the UK or I travel around Europe, I have to go in the same line as everybody else, and I'm ready to not have to be in that line, so I get irritated. And I think the thing about about airport personalities is there is something definitely that changes for all people. You know, there's the happy vacationer, you know, the happy person, the hat's already on, they've already got the flip-flops on.
Shorts in January.
They're already 2 beers in by the time they get to security.
Exactly. They're already beers in, they can't wait to get to the bar, they've got a massive smile on their face. And quite frankly, those are the people that drive me insane. Because
how dare they have fun? For God's sake, be miserable.
How dare they relax?
How dare they have fun? Yeah, exactly. And then
have you gone through the body scan? Because I always get pulled in, and then you stand there like you're going to start doing the robot or something. I always feel like I'm being set up with some sort of hidden camera.
Because you see the people working there looking at each other, and you can tell they've probably got some real like, oh, let's this one.
Yeah, exactly. What can they actually see on those scanners? It's scary, really, isn't it? But
and then I don't know. It happened to me not that long ago, where I got on the plane and there was a seat next to me empty, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant, particularly because of the long haul. And I thought, this is absolutely brilliant. But then I had that real planes, trains and automobiles moment where somebody ran in about 1 minute before they get the doors closed and sat down. And then
you feel you've lost.
I totally felt I'd lost.
Yeah.
Even before now, when it's been, because EasyJet, you don't get allocated a seat, do you? Or you used to. I don't know whether you do anymore. Maybe you do now.
You do a check-in. When you check in.
Well, there was a time, I think, when I don't know if you even got allocated a seat. And so I remember somebody I was flying with just started to cough. Now, they didn't have a cough at all. They started to cough to try and put everybody off sitting with us. So, you know, there's all sorts of techniques that go on. There's all sorts of activity and behaviours.
Yeah.
I was reflecting on this when I was flying back from Stockholm, from Sweden at Christmas. Just although there were many people, Arlanda Stockholm Airport is quite big. And, you know, it's sort of lots of wood and beautiful light and quite a sleek design. And actually people are quite quiet and respectful. So it's quite a calm place. So although people are moving around, I think compared to sort of Gatwick, which feels a lot more crowded and a lot sort of people on top of each other, it just feels very spacious and spread out and sort of enormously high ceilings and glass and just a beautiful. So sometimes airports can be very different in experience depending on where you are as well. And I think Scandinavian design just makes for a much more sort of relaxing
I
experience.
can't remember which terminal it is. You might know, Rachel, because you probably fly out more than me from. But it's Heathrow. There's one terminal where the ceiling is low, like an office. It's just so low, which means all the sound is just trapped down, and it's just. I mean, all our airports. Let's be honest. I think Stansted is the only London airport that's decent, but they're all a bit. Luton is shocking.
Yeah, fine, a bit better, which is BA, isn't it? Although I'm not
Yeah, but there's one. I'm not sure if it's Terminal 3.
three. I think it's three.
It's just
Yeah,
really grim.
yeah, and it's embarrassing. And you know, I know this is a very strange thing to bring up on a podcast, but the state of the loos at our airports in the UK is an absolute embarrassment. And I don't know why. You know, at least in the US, I do find the cleanliness in the airports is really good. They've got a lot of, they seem to be on it. And so the experience actually is very, you know, quick, efficient, clean, and because they're just so geared up for it. I feel like in the UK, anything like that, as soon as it's like, oh, people are going to travel. No, people have been traveling for a very long time, and that's why we have an airport. Can we not at least get it right?
What is it with American loos though? Because there's a gap in between the door.
That is awful.
Because they may be lovely, but there's zero privacy.
Yeah,
so sharing is not always caring.
Agree. I know. I agree. And I when I first arrived, I mean, this is becoming a toilet podcast. But when I arrived, honestly, it really, really bothered me. I just thought, how can everybody be happy with this? There's massive gaps between the cubicles and below. So, as you say, there is no privacy. And you get used to it in the end. And I think, I don't know whether it's because they're more suspicious. I don't know whether it's because they're worried that something's going on in there. I mean, obviously something is going on in there. But I don't know why. And I've mentioned it. I mean, every country's got different toilets. And I mean, France is worse, isn't it? You know, the hole in the floor. But it really freaked me out when I first came to the US. I'm so used to it now. So
bringing it back to airports though,
yeah,
sorry to just sort of like bring you back in, but bringing it back to airports, I flew into Marrakesh and flew out of Agadir, and they were so much nicer than the London, you know, really nice airports. Agadir actually wasn't that great, but Marrakesh was very modern. Istanbul's beautiful airport, and it's just like, I know, you know, the London airports are the busiest airports, some of the busiest airports in the world, but they're just minging. They really are. They're not very good.
Have you been to Dubai?
Yes.
No,
yeah.
I've only gone.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I completely underestimated how huge Dubai Airport was.
Yeah.
And when they offered us one of those sort of transport buses from one gate to another, I thought they must think that I am the most tired elderly OAP. And I thought, no, you know, because normally in the UK, you think it's for infirm people who, you know, who are disabled or, you know, are struggling with their mobility. So I declined it, and God, I wish I'd taken that chap up on his little offer.
A mile's walk.
It was like 45 minutes from one gate to another, and we'd already been on an 8-hour flight. So, and it was 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So on the way back, we were very happy to accept a ride with the chap, and it was quite nice. But it's incredible, and talk about an experience with palm trees and fairy lights and just shops everywhere. And
but the other it takes me back to personalities. And this is not against the people who really do need assistance and wheelchairs, but it's incredible the amount of miracles you see in America. It's amazing. I mean, it really is. It's getting up and walking, and it's because there's a lot of assistance, so people get through things much quicker.
It's like an Eddie Murphy moment. Do you remember Eddie Murphy trading places? I can walk.
Yeah, but also the thing about, you know, in terms of personalities, don't you think that some people just sort of, you know, they like everybody to know around them that they travel a lot?
Oh,
so they know, oh, we need to go. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
and it's very important to them that they, you know, that everybody around knows that they are a frequent flyer.
But for those of us that are stuck on these sort of tin cans just going to and from Europe, all squidged up like this, I mean, the actual flight it can be make or break who you're sitting next to.
Yeah.
So I mean, my biggest bugbear is, because we've all got long hair, but long hair is when you've got someone behind you and they use your headrest to heave themselves out of their seat. I just don't think, and most of the time they've trapped
Yeah.
my hair and they're pulling my hair out, and it's just like, for God's sake, that's my seat. It's not your armrest to push yourself out of the chair.
Yeah, and I think that also, I mean, I think I might have said this before, but the person on those very small seats, small planes where there's not a lot of room, the person who decides to put their chair back.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can do that anymore.
I think they've stopped some of them. They
Yeah,
have in the US. They've still got
they
them in the
can't.
US.
They
But
can't do it.
I think EasyJet actually have stopped it. So good on them. But
Yeah.
it's
See,
just.
Have you ever been in a war about that the little window that's sort of in between the seats, and people like having their shutters up and
Yes.
down?
Oh,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
had that sort of
Yeah.
shutter off once or twice, where
Yeah.
you pull it down and the other person pulls it up, and it just becomes a bit of a.
But also the handrest. Who gets there
Yeah.
first?
Oh yeah, definitely. But what really annoyed me, actually, I think it was with EasyJet. I was flying with EasyJet, and I don't often take a checked bag, but I did need to take a checked bag. So it meant that it was lovely. I was just going on board with just my handbag, and I had a few bits and pieces, and I wanted to put it in the overhead locker, and I wasn't allowed to. It was just like, no, only cabin bags are allowed up there. So, I've paid to have my big bag in the hold, and now I've still completely cramped because I'm not allowed to put my coat up there. I'm not allowed to put anything up there. I had to put it all under the seat in front of me. I've got a funny story, actually. This was years ago. Well, I don't know if it's that funny. I might have to cut this bit out. But I was traveling with a friend, and I got to the airport, and it was in, I don't know if 80s, 90s, when we wore jumpsuits. Do you remember jumpsuits?
Yes, I remember.
And it was disgusting. I can remember it was this kind of limey green, not lime green, light green colour. And we got to the airport, and my friend said, "Oh my God, Philippa, you've leaked. You've leaked." Literally. So I spent the entire travel trying to cover stuff up, and I had nothing with me. So I was trying to cover up, and it was only when I got to the hotel I realised I'd sat on some nail varnish. So yeah. Yeah, slightly embarrassing.
Yeah, you're a bit stuck if you're wearing a jumpsuit. I think that the travel attire is quite important.
But anyway, travel. Hey, February, time for people to book their trips, I guess.
It is very good time for travel agent. Where are you going? Anyone got any holidays booked? Oh, apart from Rachel.
I booked flights. I booked flights on Friday. I'm going to Sweden in August, which is still travel. I'm very excited. We're going back for a family wedding.
That's lovely.
So yeah, me and the kids and Hubs are going back end of August. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Brilliant.
Make sure you're getting that speedy boarding queue.
I'm so there.
Yeah. Well, I'm off to Hawaii in a couple of weeks, so that's fun.
Oh wow, nice.
That's the
aloha.
Yeah, aloha. But it's a good thing about being in the US because you have accessibility to places that you don't have in the UK. So it's nice to make the most of them. A long flight. So we shall see. I'm sure have lots of stories to tell.
Yeah.
Where are you off to then, Philippa? You've been a couple of places already this year.
I have. I think I've just sort of spent my travel tokens. So I've only just come back, as you know, from Morocco, and I haven't actually got anything planned. I did actually think about going to Paris this week because I just thought, the weather's awful. I might just take myself off to Paris because I quite like a bit of solo travel. Then I remembered it was half term, and then I looked at the price of the Eurostar, and it was just like, no, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. So I'm staying put.
I'm sure you'll think of something.
Planning.
There's a great saying that's being used a lot, I'm hearing at the moment, which sort of takes us to the end of the podcast, really, which is wheels up, which I love. It's like, let's get on with it. And it's all from the plane, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there you go. The way to end it.
Take off and book your trip.
It's good to venture out into the world, isn't it? And just find those adventures.
So that's it for the Triple Spill this week. Or this month.
As always, if you want to follow us on Instagram, that would be amazing, and then you can see our links to it's now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or if you want to see us in the flesh, it is on YouTube.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.